Here, kitty, you can has cheeseburger.
Setup we've got going on here. I have to film on my desk. It's kind of the best spot that I've got at the moment. I've tried pushing these wires back several times, but it just keeps bouncing back. So yeah, I am going to yap a lot in this video. It is completely unscripted outside of the intro, but not the usual format which I've done up to now. So if this isn't the content you subscribe for, I totally understand. I'll see you in the next one. Basically, the next fully animated video is going to be a while. I mentioned before that I was stumped for ideas, and I remained so for a while, actually. And I was starting to get worried, and I was like, oh, I might have to do an old art tour as like a last resort, you know, if I took too long, just to not leave you guys high and dry. And I've had to pull out that card. It's not because I was procrastinating or anything. I actually was starting to get moving with the script a bit, but basically, we had a death in the family. I'm fine, by the way. If I wasn't in the headspace to work on the channel, I just wouldn't. And I didn't while I went abroad, and then I came back and I didn't for like a week, not because I was like depressed or anything, but because I also came back sick, and it wasn't anything too bad, but like the congestion and coughing just, it didn't make it viable for me to record anything. But like I'm fine now. Honestly, considering the fact that I came back from the United States, I could have come back with a lot worse. So fingers crossed this doesn't become a pattern whenever I finish a video. My August was already pretty packed even before everything, so this is kind of all I can get out at the moment, so I hope it's fine. I'd rather do something like a bit more laid back than to like rush a fully produced video and like simultaneously burn myself out and like give you content that I'm not proud of. Not that I'm producing anything particularly thought-invoking, but you know, you get what I mean. Okay, so this here lovely sketchbook before us is from 2017 going into 2018. Now, if you're an eagle-eyed friend of the channel, you would remember in the outro of my last video, the driving video where I teased my old art, I dated the art that I showed to 2015, which was not a mistake. I've been drawing as a hobby since 2015, and I still hold a majority of the art that I made during that time. Don't worry, the art is still going to be really bad. I'm not a prodigy by any means. I improved super slow for someone who drew almost every day. There's two reasons I'm not sharing out that far back. The first being that there is a lot in those that I wouldn't show, and the sketchbooks I used back then were super thin already, so I just barely have anything. It'd barely be a video. There's stuff I won't show in this one as well, but as you can see, this is a bit of a girthier book we got going on here, so there is enough that I can show to like justify making a full video. The second being, my 2015 art is really just not all that interesting beyond how bad it is. I don't know how original of an experience this is. I'd love to hear from fellow artists, especially if you mostly draw like characters and stuff like that. But basically, as all novice artists do, I started with Professor YouTube, front-facing head, front-facing body, and in the summer of 2015, that was all I drew. Deadpan, staring at the camera front-facing, just churning OCs in some like it was like a weird dress-up game or like something like that. And I don't even remember most of these OCs. They've just gone like they've got like a 20% survival rate if I'm being generous. And the whole tour would have been me like, oh, I actually never thought about her again after that drawing, the turn page. So I thought it'd be boring, but if you disagree, I can pull out super, super old sketchbooks another time. Hopefully not due to a family emergency. But that's enough of wasting your time. So first of all, here's the cover. It's like, I don't even know. I remember being like super proud of this. There used to be a drawing stuck in front of here actually, and it's like you can see the residue of what was glue. I have no idea what I've done with it, if I threw it away or if it's with like some other art, but I could not find it for the life of me. But there used to be a drawing on the cover of this, and I did draw that same character later in the sketchbook, so I will point it out. And something else before we go in. I was born in 2003, and you might be wondering why is this important to like the art before us? So if you do the math, basically I came of age in the late 2010s, and I was not like in like the mid 2000s when like emo and stuff was really big in like early 2010s Tumblr. I was not there for any of that. I was too young. And I want you to keep that in your head. Keep that in the back of your mind as we go in. Especially as we go into this first drawing. Yeah. 'Cause tonight will be the night that I will fall for you over again. Yes, this is like when emo was dead for like at least a decade. We're greeted with this beauty as the first page. And you know what the worst part about this is? This is one of my OCs, and I still use this OC to this day. Granted, he is very, very different from this here. But yeah, I have nothing to say. I'm at a loss for words. I've realized me clowning all this drawing makes it seem like I have like beef with emos or something like that. I don't. Like they're fine, I guess. I've never hung out with one, but you guys are probably cool. It's just like the predictability of like this like edgelord character that every early teenager ever does that's funny to me. And just, yeah, that's what's funny. Just not the emo part, okay? Don't get mad at me. Like in the back of my head, I'm like saying this like this got inspired by something, but I can't remember what exactly inspired this drawing. It must have been like some edgy thing I saw on Google Images or on Pinterest or something, but I can't remember for the life of me. Now the next few pages are stuff that I don't want to show. There's like quite a few of them. You know, I might show just one to give you an idea. We're gonna show this one. This was like, these were more OCs. Can you tell what my niche was? Well, it kind of still is. But yeah, these were like gender bend versions of my OCs. I don't use a single one of them. Well, I kind of do. So basically like the designs I have, which I'm not going to show all of them. I'm just showing this one for like an example, was like the children of my main OCs, but then I made them gender bend. Yeah. So basically what happened is that like in the years since, like my main actual characters, like the parents of these characters, their stories are just so different that I just never bothered going to develop these guys ever again, because especially in like the newer storyline that I have and stuff, there's like newer characters that I'm just more interested in, especially considering that like it's set when their parents at least are teenagers. Like considering I'm like a grown adult now, I don't really, you know, I'm not really, there's like, and some of the newer characters and adults, I tend to focus more on like my newer characters because they're older and blah blah blah, and I guess I can relate to them more. Yeah, so that's about everything. So I'm not showing these. Just editing me. Yeah, I'm definitely not showing that. Just blur it. You know what to do. You don't. You've never edited like a whatever. Okay. This is the next thing I want to show. As you can see, this is a lovely fan art of Kana from, is it Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid? I think it was. Yeah. This is like a sketch that I made from like the lines. You can see that I doodled this in a school notebook, and I actually have a story about me doodling in school. So this didn't happen when around the time that I had this sketchbook. This must have been at least like a year after this. I was comfortably in year 11 by then from like context clues of like stuff that happened at the time. That I remember like, yeah, this was year 11. So we were in English, and it was like a supply teacher, I believe. And as I was doodling in class, as I always do. And by the way, as you know, if you've been to like a school at all, you know when there's like a substitute or a supply teacher, or whatever you call it, like the class just does not behave. Everyone's talking so loud. And I was so quiet. I'm just there minding my business, doing the thing. Supply teacher comes and just like, whoosh, just like snatches it in like the most vigorous way. Like, what did I do to you, girl? I'm just doodling. So then after class, she gives it back, and then I don't even remember what she said. She like scolds me, but then I was like a very goody two shoes. So that really hit home for me, and I was like sobbing after. And I remember like some guys asking, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And my friends, eventually this supply teacher would like teach some of my friends who are like in a different English class than me, and they thought that story was funny. Safe to say I don't talk to them anymore. No, I don't talk, yeah, in all seriousness, I don't talk to my friends I made at that school anymore. But it's not because of like beef or anything. I just moved on with my life. They moved on with theirs. And as far as I'm aware, that friendship group has disbanded. So I don't know whether that had beef or not, but I was long out of there, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I watched back to the anime in question. I watched Miss Kobayashi's Giant Maid when I was like very young. Like, I don't know, I couldn't have been older than 14. Well, obviously, 'cause I'm 14 when I drew this. But I remember at the time thinking it was really good. I have not watched it since. I have not watched beyond the 3rd season. I know there's like controversy about like, oh, it's like lolly bait. I don't know the truth of that. From what I remember, kind of, but you know, I'm not going to speak too much on it. And there's like definitely another show that I drew in here later on, which I have more to say about. So I will, yeah, but let's just keep moving. Okay, I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to give like the context of it. So you're going to have to deal with like a blurred screen. This is like a collage of my OC. So this is like an old one, and this is the one to the left is an old one, and the one to the right is like a remaster. And this was like my laptop wallpaper for a while, I remember. And I didn't scan it or anything. I just took a picture with my phone camera, and this bad quality image was my wallpaper. But that doesn't matter because I'm not going to show it. Okay, this is the character that I drew that is supposed to be on the cover of this. I remember vividly. I think it was supposed to be like me, or you know, like when you do like a little persona for yourself, kind of like the Rosami character, because it's safe to say I don't have purple eyes with hearts in them. Sorry to disappoint you, but yeah, this was like an earlier like thing that I did, and I don't know what happened to it. This is I'm not showing this either, but this was also a wallpaper. I don't know why I drew so many of these. Okay. Okay. Keep in mind, I was like 14 when I drew this. I feel like, I think I discussed this with a friend before. And like, before the age of 13, you kind of get a pass for being cringe. But past 13, I'm like, all right, get yourself together. This looks like the stereotypical Mary Sue character. And like, low-key kind of is. I think this was like a princess character for like a... Sorry, I've not thought about this character in years. I barely remember her name. Yeah, it's just got kind of funny. Why she got two tails? I think this like Two Tails thing was inspired by another show. Yeah, this is funny. So, if you watched my very first video and you have elite ball knowledge, you will know that I included references to a certain game known as Toontown. That was my childhood. I played this game religiously, and I sometimes still play. It's like the original has since shut down, but I play rewritten sometimes as an adult. And this is my two main tunes on Toontown. We got Toontown fan art before GTA 6, so do with that what you will. Will I show this? Nah, I don't want to show it. Okay, here we go. Here's our next one. This is an OC, which I have since defunct. Funny story, actually. This OC is supposed to be the sister of this one right here. I couldn't make this up if I tried. So, yeah. I don't know. I just went for like, oh, a little cute, little creepy goth girl with a teddy. Blah, blah, blah. And this hair is inspired. This hair was very... clear like a ripoff of Rem from ReZero, and I actually drew Rem later in this same sketchbook. So I'm gonna save my thoughts on what I want to say about ReZero for when I get to that page. But yeah, very poorly drawn Rem hair. But you know, gotta work with what I've got. This is like I don't even know, like a pencil thing. I don't know why, but like in like 14. Around that age range, I just like drew naked people for some reason. I don't know why. I think I was trying to be edgy. I'm like, oh, I'm so adult. But then I would never draw like the forbidden area, if you will. But I would like draw the nipples for some reason. And I was like, oh, I'm so edgy. I'm so adult. I'm like so artistic. Yeah. Here's more Toontown fan art. Oh my, I have nothing to say. Do I want to show this? It sucks. I'm not showing that. Definitely not showing that. Not showing that. Yeah. This is like kind of cringe, but I'm not showing it. Okay, this I want to show. This is more OC fan art from like the story that has significantly changed since, but whatever. I still use these two to this day. They're very significantly different from what you see now. I didn't mention that the girl is like the same blue-haired one that I like jump scared you with in the 2015 one. Yeah, so just so you know, she's gonna like show up a few more times in this sketchbook, just an FYI. This is funny because this is literally just like a ripoff of NA from Mikaku City Actors, if you have elite ball knowledge and watched that show, and the fit is just a ripoff of Chiaki from Danganronpa, which I think is funny. But this was like an AU scenario. This isn't even like the mainline story thing. Not that either of them exist anymore, but, you know, yeah. This is that same... It drew like a child. I don't know why the legs are like that. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this up to now. I don't know what's up with like the bobbleheads either. I don't know. I've been drawing for like 3 years at this point and I hadn't nailed down anatomy. In fact, spoiler warning, I did not proceed to get my proportions somewhat correct until 2022, like maybe a couple years, like 2020 if you really want to push it. So, yeah. Not showing that. Okay, this was... Like, you know, online, I don't even remember the exact game that I used, but it was like one of those like character creation things, you know, like when you make it like the template and then you add the hair and stuff, and not the new one that gets clown on a wall, you know, like one of those. I made this character on there, and I remember I liked it so much that I made that character an actual OC, and I have not thought about that OC in at least half a decade. Right, sorry, I had to pause. It was getting a bit hot in my room. I had to open the window. More Toontown fan art. I don't know what it was with... This is... I have no way to explain myself. Not showing that, not showing that. This is like another drawing of like an OC that I actually still use. I remember being quite proud of this. I think it was like this side thing. I don't remember. I remember drawing this and like... I am so good at like art. You have no idea. Okay. I've reached it. So here is another kind of fan art, and here we have Shiro from No Game No Life, which I have not watched in like a decade probably. I watched the first season, and okay, so I'm not on TikTok, but I do like go on Reels occasionally, and I sometimes get anime stuff on my feed, and people are like, oh, we need like season 2 of like certain shows. Oh, why don't we get season 2 of a show? Why is Rent a Girlfriend getting season 5? Blah, blah, blah. And like in the comments, people are like just listing off shows that they want to get season 2. I have seen people say that they want No Game No Life season 2. And I'm like, what? Are we thinking of the same show? Look, I am one of the many coping Ouran High School Host Club fans. I know what waiting for season 2 looks like, okay? But I'm like, really? No Game No Life out of all things? Like, it was like kind of weird. I don't know. I'm sounding like such a... Considering I just said I like Ouran High School Host Club 20 seconds ago, I probably sound like such a hypocrite pointing out that No Game No Life is kind of weird. But listen, you know or you don't know. One thing I will give to No Game No Life is that it is pretty stunning. Like, the anime is beautifully made. Yeah, those animators, mwah, chef's kiss. But anyway, moving on from that. We got more fan art. I feel like one of my takeaways from this video is that I actually don't really draw fan art of like just stuff that I like nowadays. I should get back into that. I don't know why I drew a lot of fan art in this. I don't want to ever be called a LARPer. I was there when Rin was the yellow one and she liked oranges, okay? Rin was my beloved. She was my absolute favorite Vocaloid back in the day. And hold on, I actually have something to show you outside of the sketchbook. I don't ever want to be called a LARPer. Ignore the stuff in the background. The bow fell off. I need to glue that back on. This fell off my shelf once, and R.I.P. Rin's bow. I keep telling myself I need to glue it back on, and I don't. Yeah, I've had these for like years and years and years. I think I got these 2019, I think. I don't know. I don't know. Never call me a LARPer. Anyway, the point of the figure was that there is a certain Rin figure. I don't know if it's still available, if it's still... I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. There's one of the songs, Meltdown, and she has this outfit, and there's a figure of it, and I was obsessed with that figure. I wanted it so bad, and I never got it. I don't think I would get it now. I'm just not that into collecting figures anymore. I don't have that many. I think I have sufficient figures. Yeah. And Miku. Yeah, nothing more to say. You know her, you love her. There's like this argument about whether her hair is blue or green. I have like this like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell with the camera. It's not the best camera in the world, and it's not the best paper and crayons in the world, but I use like teal and blue and stuff. Oh yeah, and here's my Sakura Miku figure that I got for, I think when I turned 18, with another piece that fell off her head and I'm too lazy to glue back on. Oops. Okay, we're gonna keep going. This is dragging on for longer than it should. Okay, I'm not gonna show this side. This side. More Toontown found out that I don't know. I have no explanation. I can't explain this one away. Okay, here, this must have been around Christmas, so, because you can tell, because I drew my little persona that I haven't thought about in years in a little Christmas hat, and I completely forgot about her even as I was making a persona for this channel. And here's that same, like, Chiaki Nanami ripoff type of OC, and, like, yeah. Will I show that? Nah, I won't show that. Won't show that. Here is a drawing that I remember being quite proud of. I don't think this is any particular OC. I think I was just drawing, I don't know, just something neat. I think it was the eyes, because I put, like, white out on the eyes. What do you call it? I don't even remember what they call it here in the UK. White out. I don't know. Some, like, British person can get mad at me in the comments. This is, you know what? I don't even remember who these two characters... There probably are supposed to be two characters. I could not tell you which ones they were supposed to be. I can't really say much about this horrific building job we've got going on here, because honestly, that's probably as good as a job for me as you're gonna get to this day. Ooh, here we are. Here's the Rem fan art I was talking about. This is actually not bad for my skill level at the time, you know? So yeah, what was I gonna say about ReZero? Yeah, this was ReZero was one of my first animes, and this was back when only season 1 was out, but the thing is, I never kept up to date with it, and it's literally been so long since I've watched ReZero that I'd have to start from zero if I were to... No, oh, I just saw what I did there. I'd have to start from zero if I wanted to, like, give the show another go. And, I don't know, I've heard it's good, so maybe I shall do it once I stop procrastinating the other series that I want to watch. I am most definitely not showing that. This is just a sketch. It's not really important for thing. Do I show this? Yeah, here's the gender bend of the... I'm pretty sure I showed this character earlier. Yeah, just a gender bend thing. I'm not showing that. Here is some OC, which I have long since forgotten. That is a Yandere Simulator levels of naming stuff. Yeah, I don't remember the first thing about this character. I kind of remember, not really. I think she was just I think at the time I watched, like, Classroom of the Elite, and I was too young to really have any awareness to what a good show and a bad show is, and I was like, ooh, this is so cool, it's so deep, and then I was like, I ripped off the girl with the hat. I don't even remember her name, and she wasn't even relevant at the time that I watched the end. I don't remember for the second I don't remember how many seasons we were out. Okay, this is actually a remaster, because I drew this like a year ago, and I remember being really proud. This is like all the eyes of like the major OCs I had at the time, and I actually still use all of them, but yeah. So I remember being so proud of it that I took a picture. And once again, because little me did not know of cam scanner at the time, I just took it with my phone camera. Not this one, like the older one. And the thing I vividly remember about taking that picture is that I didn't bother to crop out the top of my, like, crock, because I took the picture of it sitting on the floor. Bruh. And that's all I remember. I was so proud of it. I'm like, let's remaster. I remember being quite proud of this one as well. And fun fact, I actually, when I remastered it again earlier this year, which was like pretty cool. Yeah. I don't even know what this, I'm like 90% sure this like outfit I ripped off of somewhere. I don't even remember from what. Some anatomy practice, which would not come to fruition, or it's like actually, yeah. The bobblehead. Need I say more? Not showing that. Do I need to say anything about this one? I don't. Girl. Okay. Not showing that. Ooh. Okay. We're going on to a big one. And if you know, this is another fan art. And if you know where this is from, I apologize in advance for the, like, whiplash and the war flashbacks I am going to give you. Oh, the wrong one. Defender of Justice 707. I'm so sorry for, like, anyone who I gave flashbacks to by turning this page. So, if you know, you know. If you don't know, there is this mobile game called Mystic Messenger, which came out around the mid-2010s, and it was a bit of a canon event for me. Anyone who was in my life around that time, this was like before I was at the sketch. This was like a year before I drew like a year and a half beforehand where I discovered the like Mystic Messenger. But anyone who was in my life around that time will tell you that that game had an absolute chokehold on me. I'm not gonna delve too much into like the details of what the game is about and like the lore and stuff, because that's like an iceberg in of itself. All you need to know is that there was a character called 707, and I was absolutely obsessed with him because I have not one original take. He was a canon event for me, the character of Seven, not just the game, but the character of 707 was a canon event. I was obsessed with this character. I drew him very little for how there's like, I think I drew him another time, not in the sketchbook, but I drew him very little for how obsessed I was with this character. Here's a remaster of that same...
Bruh.
Anyway, I don't know why at the time I was like, not... This concept, like, I don't like how I drew it, but this concept is so good that I'm gonna draw it again. I can't tell if the anatomy is, like, better or worse. I don't know. Will I show that? No, let's not show it. What's this? There's like a paper in here. Yeah, no, I'm not showing that. Okay, this was... There was like a Vocaloid song. If you know, you know, but there was a Vocaloid song that was... I don't even remember the name of it, but I was obsessed with that song. I was like playing the song on repeat. I'm like, all right, I'll draw the character. It's R.I.P. Gossip C. By the way, I didn't even draw the character correctly at all. This just looks like a really bad ripoff of the character that was in that song. I think it was because I drew it at school, if I recall correctly, and I couldn't pull up a reference image on my phone. And I was like, I want to draw something like that. And this is the drawing of that character featured in the song. I don't remember the name of it for the life of me. I'm so sorry. Vocaloid fans are getting so mad at me in the comments right now, but I'll put it up if I remember what it's called. Oh my gosh. Do I show this? Do I dare show this? Okay. So I'm gonna show one half. I'm not gonna show the other half. Mate. Actually, no. I'm not gonna show these because there's like another drawing later on with like the same concept to it that I can like bring up. Whatever. You'll see. No, definitely not. What? If you know, you know. No. What? I don't even know what I think these are like two. I don't use this one anymore. This is the one with like the robot arm from earlier that I still use. And yeah, I don't... What is it? This looks like... This fit looks like something you'd get off the Roblox shop for like... for like 10 tickets back in 2015. Enough said. This is an unfinished sketch. Okay, I was gonna say, oh, it's not too bad. Then I saw the hand. Yeah. Honestly, the fact that I didn't finish it tells me that I hated it even at the time that I was drawing it. I thought it was bad. So, is that it? Oh, I think that's it. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and show the semi-realistic one then to give you an idea. Okay, I've gone back to the ones that I was like contemplating if I wanted to show or not. There was like a bit of a phase that I had for like, I think between this and it lasted for like a year. I think I was like, oh, anime is like too childish for me. I need to grow out of it. I need to do something like a bit more mature. And I was like, I'm gonna try to draw realism. And I took a couple of my characters and I tried that. And as you can see, it is the stuff of nightmares. What is this? I think even at the time I acknowledged that it was creepy, if I recall correctly. This is sleep paralysis demon material. Need I say more? So, is there a message, a conclusion to me showing you my old art? Not really, if I'm being honest, but you know what, I'll put a little something out there for like any artists watching this, especially if you're a beginner, because I know I have nothing but love towards any beginner artists, especially in like the current landscape of like AI and stuff that it, you know, no, I'm gonna pick up a pencil. I'm gonna do it anyway. Listen, you can start from anywhere, because I'm aware that my current setup is like not the cheapest thing in the world, but also that this setup is after 11 years of doing this. Back when I started, for half of the time that I was drawing, 'cause I started drawing digitally quite late actually, like I think around 2020, So like when I've been drawing for a bit over 6 years, but actually when I picked up the stylus. But before that, I would just draw with like the same pen that I would use to write my science notes and whatever terrible, not very good crayons that I could get my hands on. And this sketchbook, I know it's like thick, but it's not like the best quality, if I'm being honest. I just bought it because I had a bunch of pages at the time, and I got this from like a store that sells supplies and stuff that was near where I lived, and that was the only reason I got these. But as you can see, I rendered a little bit in this, but for the most part, I would not render anything. I would just go in, base colors only. I have something else to say. This is for more intermediate artists than beginners. I think intermediates need to hear this more than beginners. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Do not throw out your old art. I am begging you. I threw out a few old pieces, not from this era, from like a bit earlier. I think by the time I got here, I'd learned my lesson. I was like, I'm not throwing away my art. And I deeply, deeply regret doing that. Like, don't throw away your old art. Please, I'm begging you, don't do it. If I ever do like a super, super old art book tour, then I'll go into like the art that I threw away and stuff, because it's before this book here. It's like so fun to look back at your old art every now and again and stuff. I love doing it privately, so it's very nice to do it with you guys. And if you're not someone who makes OCs, or you're not that sentimental of a person, just milk a video out of it in a decade. That's it. Bye!